All right, thank you for staying with us. The concern this morning, and we can't just exhaust that conversation till we see significant and persistent change on this matter, because the issue of security is everybody's concern. And the concern, or more concerning, is the seeming lackluster body language of those in power, those that should be at the aim of affairs, shutting down any other frivolities to be working and to show that they are working. You just have instance of Mr. President attending weddings, Agogo Fishing Festival, which is okay. But people have been calling on Mr. President to say a state that has been constantly hit for months, part of Kwara State, will it be a bad thing for him to show up in that place as the commander-in-chief, not to wear camouflage, not to wear military gears and carry guns, but to show when he shows up, his people will follow him. Then more importantly is that compassion for the people that have been affected, seeing it from the number one, that he cares about them. Or many persons will say that's not the case right now. Now, beyond all of that, where does it look like, oh, maybe we are making gains? It will look like that. Then just a minute or two to look like there is no gain that we are making. And all of those things, especially these bombardment and attack, constant attack, even mass abduction in Kwara State. What is fascinating? What has fascinated these criminals about Kwara State? Again, okay, that doesn't say the attack in Kaduna, or, well, we might have some maybe quietness, some kind of relative peace in Kaduna. That's not the case in Katsina. That's not the case in Borno, Yobe attack. We will still have some of these issues, but the focus is on Kwara. And very unfortunately, you know, not just Kwara, in Nigeria, northern Nigeria, a video emerged at the weekend showing some abductions, you know, that have been made and parading of Nigerians. And by the way, we can independently verify this video, but, you know, information in the public space is saying those were people, you know, abducted from Kayama. Kayama is in Kwara State, you know, and we allow you just take a listen to the soundbite.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah. Da dai waɗannan mutanen su ne wanda aka kama su a Woro. To yanzu za ku ji yanayin inda aka kama su da kuma yanayin yawan nasu a bakin su. Ya ana aka kama ku? Wace karamar hukuma? Wace jiha ce?
Kwara State.
Kefa, a ina aka kama ku? Wace karamar hukuma?
Local government.
Wace jiha?
Kwara State.
Nawa ne adadin naku?
176.
Kefa ma mai jan riga. A ina aka kamo ku?
Waro.
Wace karamar hukuma ne?
Local government Kayama.
A wace jiha ne?
Kwara State.
To kun dai ji adadin naku fa?
176.
To kun ji dai gashi gwamnatin naku ta kafurci da ta karya ga tana ta yi wa mutane karya, ku ba ku wuce 30 ba ko 20 da wani abu.
All right, that's disheartening, actually, especially not just on these vulnerable women, but can you see children hopeless in that particular situation? And you see, yeah, there you go, even toddlers, infants that are being carried. And these are people, you could say, I saw, you know, you could see the woman in black with the instance of a mother, you know, a child that was trying to make noise there. You could see the mother slamming. So keep quiet, because you don't know where you are.
They're irrational, irate.
Exactly. And, you know, this is a video released, allegedly released by the Boko Haram, parading that these people have been captured. And you could see the person conducting that narrative, asking them so that they could confirm, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? And how many are you people here? And they gave the numbers. You could see young girls at the back. children without clothes are at the front. Ladies and gentlemen, it is disheartening to confirm that with what we are seeing, this is Nigeria, your Nigeria, my Nigeria. We have with us today a public affairs analyst and a security consultant and expert as well, Dr. Chuks Maha. He joins us virtually. Doctor, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, Femi. It's a pleasure, as usual, joining you guys.
Right, it's a pleasure and it's good to have you, but it's not a pleasure and it's not good what we are seeing at this time. Doctor, we've spoken to you countless times on the issues in our nation. You've identified, you provide solutions, but it seems something is fundamentally wrong somewhere. The U.S. intervention, a couple of Obama here and there, happened, and some will say, okay, maybe we are getting it right. But it seems the focus has shifted to Kwara State right now. There was abduction, there have been abductions. What we show you is still a purported abduction and killings as well. The last that happened in Woro was the people, many persons, and they said the community is a Muslim-dominated area, and the survivors there said those guys came, you know, with a strange doctrine that is not even the conventional Islam that they know, and they killed so many persons to the tune of hundreds, you know, I mean more than 100. Here we are, you know, this morning. What exactly is wrong? And let me put this. What is the fascination of these people about Kwara State? What is the catch in Kwara State? If actually you could help us this morning.
Okay, well, let's get started this way. I first want us to change the narrative which was going on before, which said issue of Christian genocide. I remember when I was on your program some time ago, I said, no, it has nothing to do with religion. Both parties are being killed. In fact, three parties, Christians, Muslims, and atheists, if you want to call free thinkers. I'm talking of traditional religion and the rest of that, put into one category. It doesn't matter. They just enjoy the issue of killing. So that I need to get that narrative changed. Now, first and foremost, the reason why Kwara State is a victim, if you can recall, sometime late last year, when it started, the governor, through the Commission of Information, denied all atrocities, denied the fact there were no such attacks, no abduction, no form of terrorism. Kwara State was safe, despite everything was very visible, if you can recall. Now, having said this, people were ready to assist, to help, but when the governor says there's no problem, no call for anything, everybody kept quiet. It started. The governor still refused to accept. 7 local government chairmen came together to create some kind of security formation there within Kwara State, inviting the military to assist them. They shut down the markets, closed down the cattle ranches there, and said, no, enough is enough. The governor still didn't do anything or say anything. It has gotten to a point now, it's come up. I wonder what he's going to say. But the truth is, why is this happening? The first question I need to ask us here as Nigerians, what is the value of human life in Nigeria?
Exactly.
What is the value of human life in Nigeria? Can we put a price tag to a life in Nigeria? If yes, and we know this price tag, what are we doing about it to protect the value of human life? That's the first thing. Now, having said this, and I want this to sink amongst, especially the politicians, is the fact that it's happening in Kwara today. It was happening in Kaduna. It can happen anywhere.
Right.
Whether Abuja, whether Lagos, whether Port Harcourt, Enugu, anywhere. These guys are gaining strength and gaining landmass on a daily basis. And what surprised me, Femi, is that instead of our political leaders to be thinking security, they are all talking 2027 elections and campaign. Not too long ago, they said INEC has released timelines. Timelines that what? For who? That's if there's a country by then. So we need to get our act together to first fight this common menace called insecurity. Tackle it, defeat it, get rid of it, then we can then come back again to the table and start talking politics and whatever goes on next.
All right, Dr. Maha, I'm glad that on the premise on which I'll raise this, my question to you, you've mentioned most of them. You talked about the posture of our lawmakers. You talked about the the way that the Kwara State government in 2025, how they denied and
Initial
eventually,
denial,
you know, the initial denial, the first denial before, you know, it was eventually confirmed. I want you to talk about this. Remember also, in some northern states, even in some schools in Abuja, schools are closed at this time, or at a time schools were closed because of this. Let's talk about the emotional strain, the physical strain on people, the economic strain on people's businesses, and by extension, Nigeria. I'd like to ask you, at this rate, with all of this happening, with the posture of government at the federal, state, and local levels, the lawmakers, at this rate, would you judge or would you observe this government as knowing what they are doing, especially as it concerns security?
From our personal opinion, I want to emphasize personal opinion. Politics is still played with security, and that's from my personal opinion. Secondly, no governor can tell me he or she, unfortunately we don't have female governors, no governor can tell me he is not aware of the state of security affairs within his state. If he does say so, then that governor is not worthy of being a governor, not just in Nigeria, but in that particular state he removed. I'm amazed till now that Mr. President has not called a state of emergency. That's the funny thing. Nobody's talking. That's why I spoke about the value of human life. The truth is, and I need to state here, the truth is that this menace can be corrected at once. It only means just one thing. The government knows what to do. That is the unfortunate thing. The government knows what to do. It only requires guts by Mr. President taking a firm decision, which we've been calling for ever since, taking a firm decision, not just spoken language, but body language, and putting our security agencies in place to do the tackling of the job. Our security agents are ready. They are more and capable of doing it. All we need foreign intervention for is a supply of more sophisticated arms, if at all. That's all. We have the manpower, we have the training, and we have everything to put this in place. Just the political will that is needed. Once the political will is given, instructions are given to the service chiefs, all of them, this thing will become a thing of the past. Now, how can it be done? It's not only going to be done by the military alone. The civilian populace too will come in. And that's why I've also clamored on the Ministry of Information on this agency called the National Orientation Agency. In its way, so far it hasn't been doing anything for it to begin to arouse a consciousness amongst Nigerians, a security consciousness amongst Nigerians. Nigerians, for now, are no longer patriotic. We need to build up patriotism amongst all of us, within the political class and the civil class, the class that's been governed. Until the political class and the civilian or civil class are being fully politicized in terms of patriotism, we'll be able to get these things out. When you see something, you do something. When you cannot do something, then you say something. We all have the capability. These bandits or terrorists are no spirits, Femi. I need to let us know. They are no spirits. They live with, or they invade into our community. We see them. They eat, they stay, and they walk around. Taking the number of abductees that were carried around. How did they do it? Was there a magician amongst them? Did they just vanish into thin air? No. They moved along the streets. No. Did they get luxurious buses? No. They matched them to their places. People have seen them. Why hasn't the government called on the telcos to track down that video that came up? The video hit, was it Al Jazeera or what? I can't remember where I first saw it. And that's it. And it's gone viral. We can track it. After, I remember one time some joker, one young guy said something about one of our first ladies. Within a few days, the DSS caught up with him.
Yeah.
How are we able to track him? Why can't they track these things down? So we need the political will to get these things done. And that's why I said there's a lot of politics involved in this.
Dr. Maha, you talked about people not being patriotic. Yes, is that the politicians, or you're talking about Nigerian citizens?
First, the politicians and the rest of the Nigerian citizenry.
All right.
We lack
would it be
patriotism.
fair?
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Yes. No, hold on. I need to put this straight.
Okay.
It's bad enough we call a dog and give it a bad name. Our politicians have enough problem of their own.
Okay.
But yes, the politicians lack patriotism, but we people too lack patriotism. Why do I say so? Why do I say so? If indeed we were patriotic, we would not have voted those people in. There are some good politicians, so please don't get me wrong. What we are talking about, if indeed the people are patriotic, not selling their rights, their votes for 1,000 naira or 5,000 naira, or a bag of rice or some tin of tomatoes or whatever it is, this problem should not be there. Why haven't we found out ways to say, okay, no, we are recalling this senator back or this guy in the National Assembly or the State Assembly back. We don't want you. We want to pass a vote of no confidence. Yes, Constitution provides for that. We can. But are we ready to do it? The answer is no.
All right. Now, the question, I think I pick it from what Okwes said, talking about patriotism. How do you preach patriotism to a Nigerian who is distressed, mentally distressed because of the economic situation, is trying to, survive, or she is trying to survive as a father, as a mother, as a breadwinner, even as a young person for he or herself, and still battling with the issue of, health infrastructure, deficit, and now we are talking about security. How do you look at such a person? Isn't in this regard, isn't it supposed to be like a top-to-bottom approach? And when it doesn't look like the people at the end of affair cares for you, I'll give you an example. We've said it separately. Let's start with the Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Right now, he made many promises when he was in charge. Oh, he would be in charge of economy. As they say, conversations that led to the elections. Oh, Shetima will be in charge of this and all of those things. But he himself personally promised Nigerians, you'll be protected, you'll do this and that and all of those things. Now, this issue, let's even scratch what has happened in the past. In the last 1-2 weeks, or in the last 1 month, in 2026, Kwara State, for example, has been bombarded so many times. Abductions from Eruku to the Isin part, the Felodun part, and all of those places. The latest is Woro. The president has not deemed it fit to go there, not even once. He was in Abuja at the mosque to celebrate the wedding ceremony of Matawale and his girls and his boys. The wedding ceremony, that's fine, At the weekend, he was in Argungu, he was in Kebbi State to commission, project done by the Kwara State government, and of course, just went to Argungu, for the fishing festival. So, for a Chuks Maha, who is an elite, with due respect to you, might understand, maybe, but for somebody somewhere in Woro, listening, seeing that this has been the itinerary of my president, Dr. Kaj, how will you preach patriotism to such a person? Does it look like the system cares for them?
Okay. Would you like me to respond to this?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. What I might say might not be exactly what you would like to hear. But
No, just say the truth.
Okay, good. I expected His Excellency, the Governor of Kwara State, to call out for help from the national body, from the federal government, from the federal office, that's from the office of the presidency. Whether His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, comes or not, it's not the issue. But when he makes that call to the office of the presidency, the president, if he cannot make it, will delegate that function to his vice president or somebody to represent him.
Dr. Maha.
Hold on, I'm coming
Okay.
there. Hold on, listen.
All right.
Now, Mr. President is one person. He cannot be split into so many parts. Now, we do not know where the calls for his presence has been. I'm not holding brief for him. But if you know the policy that goes on in the office of any excellency, whether you're a governor, deputy governor, president or vice president, your calendar has been booked down. Your chief protocols officer is combating, find out time slots to put in there. Though there are things they call priority, which will override of national interest, which will subdue any other invitation that may come up, which everybody understands. Now, the question is the need. The clamor for him coming down to Kwara, the information being given to Mr. President, getting down there, maybe two different things entirely. Maybe the security report coming to Mr. President from Kwara State has been doctored. Maybe they're not telling the whole truth of what's happening there. Or maybe he's aware, he's had communication with the governor who has told him, oh, all is well, I can handle it. Femi, you are not there, I am not there. Well, I'm just playing the devil's advocate now. Now, we do not really know. But what I do know is that what we are getting from the paper, from the press, what we are hearing, what we are seeing, it's more than time enough for Mr. President to declare a state of emergency in Kwara State to start with. That is mine. Whether he's there or not, declare a state of emergency. Now, the people are there. The people need to feel secure. What are the military doing? But the military cannot do much unless an order is given to them from the Chief of Army Staff, from the presidency to him, and then to the guys down there who will enforce to take over, to march in to Kwara State. But again, too, so much care has to be taken because these terrorists could do what we call diversional tactics. They pull all your strength to one place and they attack another place. But there are strategies that can be put in place for all the security agencies to map out plans on what we can do to secure Nigeria. And that is, to me, the key thing. First and foremost, we are not getting aerial views. What's the Air Force doing? What are they doing with the planes, the jets? We need to get surveillance, air surveillance, to see and map out where these guys are doing. What's the Minister of Information doing and the Communication Commission? They should shut down certain networks, if need be, to be able to track. These guys move around. They carry cell phones. We should be able to get these things, information on them. What's going on? There's a lot that can be done, and there's a lot to be done. But first and foremost, we need Mr. President to make a pronunciation verbally and the use of his body language for us to know enough is enough. And again, people of Kwara State, they have their representatives both at the state level, House of Assembly. They also have their representatives at the national level. What are they doing and what are they saying?
All right, Dr. Maha, I mean, you talked about the posture of our lawmakers earlier. And we're talking about the president of the nation, the commander-in-chief of Nigeria's armed forces. This, you're talking about the governor of Kwara State making a call for help to the president. These are people who did not share the same ticket. I mean, the governor of Kwara State, he campaigned for himself to be governor of Kwara State. The president campaigns to be president of the nation, and that means carrying the whole 36 states of the federation in his arms. So these are two different roles. You're saying that for a president to rise up to his own people's cries, to their plight, a governor has to call out to him for help. Recently in Canada, myself and my colleague, we spoke about this morning on the show. There was a mass shooting, I mean, in a school, in a particular community there in Canada. This is Canada. Can you say, would you say, the Prime Minister of Canada, he shelved, his itinerary for this. He was supposed to travel. He did not. It called, yes, it called for a day of mourning in Canada. He asked that the mass should be put at half-mast, and, just so it reflects the mood of the country at the time. Would you say that the president is more busy than the the Prime Minister, rather, of Canada? This is a country that is scheduled to co-host, alongside the United States and Mexico, the World Cup. This is a country that has been ridden by lots of tariffs, being imposed on Canada and several other nations in the past few months. This is Canada and this is Nigeria. Over time, Nigeria has been, bugged by several insecurity issues. And you're saying that a governor, are you saying that the president doesn't listen to the news? He does not know what is going on. So he only relies on what his cabinet members tell him, what his aides give to him as information. Is that what you're saying, Doctor?
As much as possible, we shouldn't get too sentimental.
Okay. I
am also sharing your views also. You cannot compare Canada with Nigeria.
In what sense, Doctor? In what sense?
Hold on. I started by asking a question. What is the value of the human life in Nigeria? In Canada, in America, they have a value attached to human life. Until we attach a value to human life, we are not going to get what we're getting. We see corpses along the highway, along the road, on our streets. Nobody does anything. People just snap their, hey, yeah, take a picture and move on. Nobody cares. That is the truth. Now, let's go down to issue. Now, we've had cases. Remember, let me go back again, taking politics again. Let's go back again. See the outcry that came up in River State with the intervention of federal governments coming in to River State, thanks to Big Wike and all that one, as is alleged, and all that one. Now, why I say the governor needs to cry out, like what happened in Benue State, there must be a cry before, so you don't start accusing the federal government of interfering with your politics within your states. And that is a thing we need to be careful of, because anybody can come up and say, fine. It's like now they want to do something in Lagos or in Oshu there, and the president now comes and says, no, you have to do this in Oshu. Of course, the governor, the Adeleke, would not be happy. Why intervene? You have your place there in Abuja.
Doctor, this is not a social event. It is.
No, hold on. Listen,
Okay.
listen to me. Listen to me, and we need to get this clear. I know it's a security affair. I do know that. I'm worried. We are worried. We are all concerned because it's happening in Kwara today.
Okay.
It's going to happen anywhere. You and I, best will have relations there in Kwara State, who are working, who are trying to make a living there. We are all interwovenly related in this country, whether we like it or not. So I am worried what's happening in Kwara. I want a solution to be in Kwara. But the first step should be taken by His Excellency the Governor. Having taken that and it's not enough, then we can then pull down the president and say, come, what are you doing? Yes, I expect if the president had gotten down there, would have said thumbs up for him for having used his own initiative to come to Kwara. But he hasn't so far. Now, what is the governor doing? If the president has done that, like how you like it, the prime minister in Canada to have done, taking his own initiative, then that's beautiful. Instead of the regional guy in Canada just sitting alone there. But now, that hasn't happened here. And that is an issue here. So what we need to do, because to start with, the chief security officer of any state happens to be the governor. He's the chief security officer of the states. And that's why I said, if he's not capable, then he should then call out for help. That's why I said, so we're not on the writing him down or saying he's not capable. Let him do that, the needful, and let it go. And if there is no immediate response from that clarion call, then we know there's a problem, a very big problem. That's why I said so.
All right.
Not like you want to jump the gun.
Let's go on a quick break. You know, that question of the worth of a human life in Nigeria and the example given by Tope, we'll still look into that. For context, we know we might want to explain it in ways to say, oh, this is Nigeria. Don't compare it with, Canada. We are not even talking about wealth or,
Yes.
all of those things. But we're talking about the worth of a human life. That's why we'll take it from there. Dr. Chuks Maha, please stay with us. We'll take this quick break. When we return, the program will continue. And I'd like you to get prepared as you're listening, watching us right now. Your opinion and your contribution, you can log in on our Facebook page at Western Spring Television NG. Our YouTube page is Western Spring Television NG as well. To let us know your feel really wholly about the true worth of a human life in Nigeria. We'll continue the conversation. That will be after now.